Good morning, Sea Lions. I hope you had a restful weekend, but this is where the work starts, okay? So everything's been uploaded to Google Classroom now for today, and each day you'll have your lessons to complete. Can't wait to see what you come up with and what kind of things to do. Now, this morning I'm going to finish off Chapter 4 of Kensuke's Kingdom, okay? So if you watch the video I put on a few days ago, you would have had the start of Chapter 4. This is Part 2. So, Stella interrupted my thoughts. She was whimpering pitifully at me from the rock below, and I knew it wasn't love or comfort she was after. She caught every strip of fish I threw at her, snaffled it in one gulp, and waited for the next, head on one side, one ear pricked. After that, it was one for me, one for her. Her beseeching eyes would not let me do otherwise. The fish was raw, but I did not mind. I was too hungry to mind, and so was Stella. I kept the red bananas all to myself. I ate every single one of them. They weren't at all like bananas back home, much sweeter altogether, much juicier, much more delicious. I could have eaten a dozen more. Once I had finished, I stood up and scanned the forest. My benefactor, whoever he or she was, had to be somewhere close by. I was sure I had nothing to fear. I had to make some kind of contact. I put my hands to my mouth and called out again and again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My words echoed round the island. Suddenly the forest was alive again with noise, a great cacophony of singing and hooting and howling and cawing and croaking. Stella barked wildly back at it. As for me, I felt suddenly exhilarated, elated, ecstatically happy. I jumped up and down, laughing and laughing, until my laughter turned to tears of joy. I was not alone on this island. Whoever was here must be friendly. Why else would they have fed us? But why wouldn't they show themselves? They wouldn't have to come back for the bowls, I thought. I would leave a message. I found a sharp stone, knelt down and scraped out my message on the rock beside the bowls. Thank you. My name is Michael. I fell off a boat. Who are you? After that, I determined to remain on the beach all that day and stay close to my cave and the rock above where the fish had been left for us. I would keep it always in sight so that I would at least be able to see who it was that had helped me. Stella ran on ahead of me down into the sea, barking at me, inviting me to join her. I didn't need any persuading. I plunged and cavorted, and root and splashed, but through all my antics she just cruised steadily on. She always looked so serious when she swam, chin up and paddling purposefully. The sea was balmy and calm, barely a ripple of wave to be seen. I didn't dare go out of my depth. I'd had quite enough of that for a lifetime. I came out clean and refreshed and invigorated, a new person. The sea was a great healer. My bites were still there, but they did not burn anymore. I decided I would explore further along the beach, right to the end if I could, just so long as I could keep my cave in view all the time. There were shells here, millions of them, golden and pink, thrown up in long lines all along the beach. Before long, I came across what seemed at some distance away, like a flat wedge of rock protruding only very slightly from the sand. Stella was scrabbling excitedly at the edge of it. Turned out not to be rock at all, but a long sheet of rusted metal. Clearly all that was left of the side of a ship's hull, now sunk deep in the sand. I wondered what ship it was, how long ago she had been wrecked. Had some terrible storm driven her on to the island? Had there been any survivors? Could any of them still be here? I knelt down in the sand and ran my hand along it. I noticed then a fragment of clear glass lying in the sand nearby, from a bottle perhaps. It was hot to touch, too hot to handle. It came to me in a flash. Eddie had showed me how to do it. We tried it in the playground at school, hiding behind the dustbins where no one could see us. A piece of paper, a bit of glass and the sun. We had made fire. I didn't have any paper, but leaves would do. I ran up the beach and gathered whatever I could find from under the trees, bits of cane, twigs, all sorts of leaves, paper thin, tinder dry. I made a small pile on the sand and sat down beside it. I held my piece of glass close to the leaves and angled it to the sun. I had to keep it still, quite still, and wait for the first wisp of smoke. If only I could get a fire lit. If only I could keep it alight. Then I could sleep by it, or by it at night. It would keep the flies away and animals away too. Sooner or later, the ship had to come by. Someone would spot the smoke. A drink of water. The throat is getting very dry. Okay, pardon me. Sorry about that. I sat and I sat. Stella came over to bother me. She wanted to play, but I pushed her away. In the end, she went off and sulked, stretching out with a sigh under the shade of the palm trees. The sun was roasting hot, but still nothing happened. My arm was beginning to ache, so I arranged a frame of twigs above the leaves, laid the glass across it, then crouched by it and waited. Still nothing. All of a sudden, Stella sprang up from her sleep, a deep growl in her throat. She turned and ran towards me, wheeling around to bark her fury at the forest, and I saw what it was that had disturbed her. A shadow under the trees moved and came lumbering out into the sunlight towards us. A monkey, a giant monkey, not a gibbon at all. Pardon me. It moved slowly on all fours and was brown, ginger brown, an orangutan. I was sure of it. He sat down just a few feet from me and considered me. I dared not move. When he had seen enough, he scratched his neck casually, turned and made his way on all fours slowly back into the forest. Stella went on growling long after he had gone. So there were orangutans here as well as gibbons. Or perhaps it was orangutans that made the howling noise and not gibbons at all. Maybe I'd been wrong all along. I'd seen a Clint Eastwood film once with an orangutan. That one I remembered had been friendly enough. I just hoped this one would be the same. Then I saw smoke. I smelled smoke. There was a glow in amongst my pile of leaves. I crouched down at once and blew on it gently. The glow became flames. I put on a few more leaves, then a dry twig or two, then some bigger ones. I had a fire. I had a fire! I dashed into the forest and collected all the debris, all the dried up coconut shells, all the wood I could find. Back and forth I went until my fire was roaring and crackling like an inferno. Sparks were flying high into the air, smoke was rising into the trees behind me. I knew I could not rest now, that the fire would still need more wood, bigger wood, branches even. I would have to fetch and carry until I was quite certain I had enough to keep it going and enough in reserve. Stella, I noticed, would not come with me into the forest, but stayed waiting for me by the fire. I knew well enough why. I kept a wary eye out for the orangutan myself, but I was too intent on my fire now to worry much about him. Pardon me. My pile of wood was used by now, but all the same, I went back into the forest one last time, just in case the fire burned itself out quicker than I expected. I had to go deeper into the forest, so it took a while. I was coming out of the trees loaded with wood up to my chin when I realised there was much less smoke coming from the fire than there had been before, and no flames at all. Then, through the smoke, I saw him, the orangutan. He was crouching down and scooping sand onto my fire. He stood up and came towards me. Now out of the smoke, he was not an orangutan at all. He was a man, and with an amazing picture here. I think it's amazing. They got Michael there with all his sticks, and then you got the man, strange old man coming there. Right. Who do you think that man was? Who do you think about the title of the book, Kensuke's Kingdom? It might give you a clue who that man might be. Okay? What do you think he's doing on the island? Do you think he has survived on the island for so long? Or do you think he's just relatively new there? Do you think he's good or bad? He's putting Michael's fire out. But then, was he the same man who left the food, or was there more than one man? I'd love to know your thoughts and what you think. So just leave them in the comments. I will reply as soon as I possibly can. I will be online today for most of the day, right up until this evening. If any of you have any emails you want to send me, or if any of you have any comments I'd like to make. Okay, have a great day, I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with in the lessons we've got planned today. Amazing. See you soon.